real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. He is the man with the plan. What's going on today, Joey?
Nothing much, man. Actually, a lot much. A lot much. Yeah, we got some
slacking. What's up?
Yeah, no. We've got some great guests today, and we have one in the studio right now.
Absolutely. Today we have with us. Listen to that great music. Torie Ellens with the Ellens team at My Home Group.
There we go, Torie.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Don't stress. It's going to be great.
Not at all.
No. You seem very cool, calm, and collective here. All right. Awesome. Why don't we start by letting the agents know how long you've been in real estate? How about that?
So I have been in the business for almost 18 years. I started down in Tucson.
Okay.
Started as an agent and quickly got my broker's license, opened my own real estate company down there. Pretty successful. We ran number 1 and number 2 in our markets.
Wow, sweet.
Then I made the big move up here.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. So 18 years. What in the world's kept you in this crazy business that long?
Yeah. I think I'm as crazy as the business. But
yes.
No, I'm born for this. I've been asked time and again, hey, is there something else you'd like to do?
Yeah.
This is my passion. And my clients know it. My colleagues know it. I love it. It's what I was born to do. So I absolutely wake up every morning and feel pretty blessed to be able to do what I love. And I think in order to do something extremely well, you have to give it 100%. And every day, day after day, this business can take a lot from you. Right. But if you just know that this is what you were born to do, and you do it, and it makes you happy, and it's fun along the way.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you love real estate.
I do.
So if I had to ask you a different question that's not on my list, like what do you do outside of real estate to just
to have fun,
chill out,
to have fun? So
because it sounds like you have fun in real estate. So
what about? I like to travel, and
sweet.
I like to glamp because it's not camping when you're in a big old fifth wheel.
Glamp. I never heard that before.
So, yeah.
Haven't?
No, glamp.
No, glamping, yeah. It's hard to tell someone. When you tell someone I'm camping and then you pull up in a 45-foot fifth wheel, they like to laugh at you. Yeah. So I glamp. I like to ride Harleys.
Cool.
And
Harleys.
Kind of just when I'm not working, because I work a lot.
Absolutely.
I try to unplug a little bit and have a good time.
All right. Yeah. Well, you mentioned. So I have to tell you, Seth Godin did one of the keynotes 2 years ago at Inman, and one of the things he pointed out, he showed on the big screen. He showed a picture of people with Harley tattoos, Harley Davidson tattoos.
Yes.
And then he says, does anyone get a Suzuki tattoo?
No, I
think
his whole
point was you stand out.
Yeah, you stand out. You do. And it's funny because most times people will say, oh, I ride. It looks just like a Harley, but I ride, right? Yeah. And you kind of laugh because there's always that reference, right?
Yes. It looks like a Harley.
It looks like
kind of sounds like one a little bit. So what kind of volume are you doing now?
So last year I did just under 24 million, and year to date I'm just under 9 million.
All right. Yeah, we're only going into the fourth
couple months into it. Got a big goal this year.
Wow. That's going to be awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you do business a little bit different to stand out?
Sure. First of all, the real estate market today is so different from when I got back in. I laugh all the time about, I used to have to give out map books and coordinating key access. It was a totally different world.
Yeah.
We're in a social media world now. I think that plays a key role. I've had some killer mentors. I look out. Actually, Security Title has been a great mentor for me, and Lisa.
Lisa got you in here, right?
She's amazing, yeah.
She's awesome.
And so what I've had to do is change my business model, right? You have to grow with the times. If you're not growing, you're dying. So getting into the social media platform and really getting comfortable with that. And then what I really believe that I do incredibly well, I get a lot of referrals. And in order to do that, you have to have kind of raving fans as clients, right?
Sure.
And not just that referral, but that recommendation, that personal, oh my gosh, you have to use Torie. And I think to get to that platform, it starts from the very first conversation. I'm extremely responsive. Many of my family members and friends will kind of joke and be like, oh no, Torie's always tied to her phone. Like right now I'm probably having a little bit of anxiety that my phone's not in my hands.
I've heard it go off a few
right?
times. No,
probably. But I am on top of the responsiveness. And then once that client starts to work with me, everything from that point has to be different. With almost 40,000 agents here in Arizona, you have to stand out. You can't blend, right? Kind of like the Harley Davidson of agents where you stand out. And so what I do from that point is I know the market so well. I mean, I'm in it 6 to 7 days a week. I keep up on what the market is doing, and the markets that I work in, I'm watching coming soons. I'm not just relying on MLS to give my clients the data. I deal also a lot with relocation. And so when I got into this market up here and I started working with people that weren't here, I thought, well, we have technology. I can FaceTime you. And if you don't have a Apple product, I can Google Hangouts you. And so I've sold so many homes over the phone before people ever step foot in them.
Nice.
And
that's
so
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
There was I remember talking to an agent once that is out in Nashville, and this was years back, before all the fancy FaceTime and all that stuff.
Right.
So it was Skype back then, right?
Right.
And he said one of the things that made a big difference for him was he would just put his Skype address on his business card and on his website and everywhere, so that people that were buying, say, from Canada or different places, he could Skype right in and he'd show them the property and all that. So now we can do it with
the phones,
mobile device, so easy. Right?
It's amazing, and
that's so cool.
Like I said, it's the next best thing to being there, right? And then I bring them in for inspections, and some people, I've closed their loan. You know, they've closed and their loans have closed, and they haven't ever even stepped foot in the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know, technology has really increased and helped our career.
Yeah.
But I think the overall thing that if you asked one of my clients, like, why Torie, what stands out, they would tell you, she knows her stuff. So I'm a fierce negotiator, but I also take care of them start to finish. They're always protected. Every agent I've ever trained, I've said to them, you need your client to feel like they sat down in a movie theater and watched this great show. They don't see the backside. They didn't get to see the fires, because in real estate, there's a fire. Pretty much every file, you're going to have fires. You handle what you can for them, and you give them as much peace of mind in knowing that you're on top of it. You know, the minute something happens, you're working on it. And so I think letting clients know that you're handling things for them and you're looking out for their best interest. And the other thing is, it's never about the sale. You know, that's the other thing I can't stress enough. You can't look at a client and say, that's a dollar amount. That's a client. You have to focus on them. Getting them to closing is the only thing you focus on. Everything else comes after. You know?
So you mentioned social.
Yes.
So which one do you like to use the most?
So Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
I've been coached heavily. Then I'm starting to do YouTube. And LinkedIn I'm getting better on. Facebook was a big one for me because I kept 2 profiles. I had my personal and my professional. And my business coach said, no more. You have to combine one. And it was a whole new world for me. I was, not used to that. So pushing that and finding that blend of personal, just going out there and posting things about you personally and letting people know that I'm not a robot realtor. It's not all I do. I feel like sometimes it's all I do. But that I do have a life and there's a personal side to it.
Yeah.
And bringing them into that world. And I have some of the best clients out there. But they've become friends because I've been able to share that with them, and you get to know your clients so well. And social media it's been exciting, but it's also been kind of a learning curve for me.
Right. All right. You also mentioned relocation. Are you doing anything specific? Like, are you doing certain marketing for that, or is it just that?
Most of it comes from my clients.
Okay.
It's said that for every person, they know somebody else that's buying, right? And it's like for every one, there's 8. So they're coming from places that people want second homes here in the valley, and or they want to relo here. So I really dig into my clients from the first touch, the very first conversation. If you know of anyone else looking to move here or to sell, if they've got people here, think of me. I want to be the first person you think of when someone says real estate. Torie.
Yeah, there you go.
So I really, my referrals have just been a huge impact on my business, because then
that's the great business.
Yes, it is.
That's the greatest way to build a business. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's always the the marketing that you have to pay for, and it's a must in this industry. But if I can rely on my clients and really take amazing care of them and just get them to the point where I'm the name they think of when somebody says real estate.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
Well, I heard a stat that every year your database will, at least the size of your database, 10 to 12% of them will give you business every single year.
Yes. And I think, especially in where we live, people know people in other states where, look, right now it's snowing and here we are, 80 degrees, gorgeous. Yes. Right? So 90 degrees will be hot. I mean, but people know people. Yeah. And if you're on their mindset, and you've got to stay in front of them.
That's right.
When they close, I'm not just out of their lives. I'm keeping in touch with them. How are you? How's the house? And not just for real estate, but anything they need. And I tell them that anything you need with regards to this, let me know. I mean, even when people come here, hairdressers, restaurants, you got to know the talent. You have to know, the market as a whole.
Yeah, right. And so are you East Valley mostly?
Oh, actually, I'm kind of Scottsdale, all over Scottsdale, North Market, Carefree, Cave Creek, Desert Hills, Anthem, West Valley, and then the 51 corridor.
All right.
Okay. And then I also do some in Paradise Valley, and then my assistant is very good in the Southeast Valley.
Got it.
That's his niche.
All right. Nice. Sweet. Kind of got the whole area covered there, right?
We try to.
Sweet. What about, how about any tips you would give agents in today's market to grow their business? What should they be doing?
For one, you cannot do this part-time. I mean, being on the other side of a transaction for somebody who doesn't return phone calls, doesn't answer text, you're sitting there wondering what's going on, and they're doing it part-time. This is not a career you can do part-time. It's just not.
Not well, anyway.
Correct. Not and do it well, right? And not do it to a service. I've had so many clients come to me that had a bad situation, and by the time they get to me, they're just, skittish. They're nervous. They've been through a terrible transaction. So those of us who, do it full time, we then have to fix the mistakes. And so you really need to do it full time. And then you have to care about the client.
Yeah.
I used to tell my agents, do not focus on what your commission's going to be, because that is not the goal. The goal is the client. Everything else falls in place. If you focus on the right thing, which is the client, everything else lines up.
Yeah.
You can't force a puzzle piece, and that's like looking at the commission. You can't do that. You have to look at the client, what's important to them, and get them. Sometimes what's important to them is silly things, right? Like we think of it and we go, we deal with this every day, but they don't. So you have to take them at their level. And again, it can't be about the dollar. I had a client that I didn't know she had used another top agent for many transactions and had no clue. She used me. And in the escrow process and, during the transaction, she said, you don't know this. And then she shared it with me. And I said, wow. I said, what stood out about me? And she said, Torie, just in our first conversation, I told you I was up to $1.2 million. And you said, tell me about what lifestyle you're wanting. And I listened to her. And I said, I can sell you $1.2 million. But everything you're looking for, I've got these units that are like 5 to 6. And it fits everything. She loved it. Fell in love with the unit, bought one, and was thrilled that I cared more about what she was wanting in a home versus the price point.
Yeah.
So, and she sent referrals.
There you go. Saved her a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That could jumpstart her retirement, right?
Right. Or buy another house.
Another house.
Maybe investment property or something?
Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's great advice.
Yeah.
When you study the market, and this, I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, but are there any resources that you like to utilize to really kind of get that in-depth research?
Yeah, so I do, again, looking at comps, and then not just looking at the black and white in comps. When I send a client comps, I don't just send the one-liners. I'll send out the detailed property, like the photos, because you can't compare apples to oranges. You've got to be able to compare, what does this house have that this one does not, or reverse. And then I also rely on my lender resources, and they'll pull reports for me. Okay. We use RPR. So there's just different ways, but part of it is I'm in the market a lot, right? So oftentimes the comps that I'm looking at, I've been in that home. The floor plan is funky. This is there. It's not upgraded. The pool needs some repair. I'm able to do things like that. Okay. And if need be, if it gets down to where I'm really not sure, then I'll go visit some of those properties to make sure I know what I'm up against. Okay.
All right. Any last things you want to share with agents before we jump into the ring?
Just, it's an amazing career. If if you can handle the roller coaster, it is an amazing career. You're able to touch people's lives. I don't think that much can replace the feeling of when you hand a first-time home buyer their keys and they well up with tears, or they just look at you like, I can't believe this. And that feeling time and again through the years is just amazing to be able to help people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great information. Thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah,
it's been great.
My pleasure.
Are you ready?
I guess
All right, let's
I
get
am.
in the ring.
Here, watch out, Jeff. She looks like she works out.
A little bit.
A little bit.
All right.
Just a little.
So, how about the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Gosh, there were things in my life that everybody faces, right? And I remember saying, to my dad one time, Dad, I feel like every time that I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, it's just another train. And he said, yeah, but Torie, you find a way to dodge that and you get back up. Wow. And you always get back up. And I was like, you're right? And so when we go through things in life, I think it's easy. There's two types of people. The ones that lay down and say, why me? And the ones that stand up and go, not me, not today. Yeah. This is not going to happen this way, right? And I think that we have to, especially in real estate, oh my gosh, you have escrows fall through like last week I had one fall through the day before it was due to close.
Oh no.
And I've got a seller in just sheer tears. And so, listen, we're going to fix this, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I would have thought, oh my gosh, now this fell through and I thought it was closing tomorrow, that's not my focus. My focus is what? My client, right? And I was able to say, listen, we'll fix this. Yeah. And one thing I know to be true is that every time it seems like things are going bad, it's because something better is coming. So
that's good.
Those are things I kind of don't forget.
Great advice. No, that's great. How about your favorite mobile app?
Oh, goodness. Well, that would be Facebook right now because I'm on it all the time.
Nothing wrong with
and
that.
I'm being hounded to stay up on social media. So right now it's that.
Okay.
Just trying to stay up on top of, some of the tools and tricks I've been trained and what's good to do on social media.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And how about a book recommendation?
The Miracle Morning.
The Miracle Morning.
Yeah.
Miracle Morning, yep.
So what time do you get up every morning?
I'm usually up by about 5.
Wow.
And depending, some days I'm at the gym at 4:30. It just depends on my morning and my day. But that's
the gym's open that early?
Yes,
No,
4:30.
They open at 4.
And that's the thing too, is that we give so much in this career, and you have to find that time for a little bit of sanity.
That's right.
And that's, for me, that's the gym. And then my downtime.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm up pretty early every day. So if you get a text from me at 5:30, sorry.
So what time do you go to bed?
I'm not a late person. I'm usually in bed around 9:30.
There you go.
If I get texts after that, then at 5, 6 a.m. I'm responding.
Wow, that's early.
Well, they text late, so I figure
That's funny.
I'll respond early.
Yeah. All right. And one more question. We'll have you draw from the mask.
Here we go.
I thought you were going to wear
This
that.
is beautiful.
I'm
What
gonna
is
have
that?
to draw a
Velvet?
question out of there. Go ahead. If you can read my writing.
What is the most adventurous thing you have ever done? Goodness.
Besides glamping.
Besides, I know that's so adventurous. I don't know that it's the most adventurous because I've done quite a bit, but something that really was cool for me is recently here in the Valley, there's Arizona Rappel, and they take you up near kind of South Mountain. And my dad is super, you wouldn't know that he's his age. He's into fitness and stuff, and we went rappelling for his birthday in February.
Nice.
And it was great because he actually let us rock climb as well. And when you get there and you look up at this rock and you go, if somebody would have told me that morning, you're going to climb that rock and then you're going to rappel down that rock over there, I would have said, really? But it was so cool to be able to kind of, you're rock climbing these things, and it was my first time.
Wow.
And then rappelling, to be able to lean
fun,
over
too.
a cliff and not be able to see the down and push
And just
off
kinda
and
trusting
go.
that. Yeah.
It was amazing. So I think next up is probably going to be skydiving because I had too much fun with the rappelling.
Well, there's an indoor one you can try.
Yeah,
first,
no,
right?
I think the plane. I think I'm
Yeah.
just going to go all in because that's kind of my personality.
Yeah, have
All
Jeff
right.
go with you.
Yeah.
He loves skydiving.
There's something wrong about jumping out of a good plane.
Perfectly good plane.
Yeah, not for me. I'd rather swim with sharks.
There you go.
But
That'd be fun too.
There you go. See? Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Been great
Thank you
information.
for having me.
Yeah, it's been a fun show. And we want to thank our sponsor, right?
Yes.
Security Title, as well as Fidelity National Home Warranty.
That's right.
This is Jeff and
Joey Sampaga
from the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs. See you
Adios.
later.